when I look at this matchup, two things stand out to me a little bit, because from Oliveira's standpoint, even when he won the 11 fights in a row before he lost to Islam, I felt like we kept waiting for him to lose. Like, could he strike with Michael Chandler? He knocked Michael Chandler out. What about Poirier? What about Gaethje? He beat all those dudes. And then for Dariush as well, he's won 8 fights in a row, but earlier I was like, is he really that good? Can he fight this guy? Can he beat this guy? So we got two guys that have been very well accomplished lately, but at the same time, a little bit overlooked in some regards. So with that said, Anthony, what are you actually expecting to see when these two get in the cage?
Well, it's going to be fireworks for sure. There's a lot of things I do know.
Okay.
Right? Like there's a lot of unknowns, but there's a couple things I do know. Charles Oliveira is not going to submit Beneil Dariush, and I can't say that we've been able to say that in some of his previous fights for a long time. He will not submit Beneil Dariush.
He's got 16 submissions all time, all time.
Right, but Beneil's not that guy. He's not going to be able to do that to Beneil. He cannot wade into range with his hands down and just be the offensive monster that he likes to be. Beneil Dariush has heavy hands, and he's not afraid to throw because he's so confident in his ground game. I think his striking was a little bit toned down in the Gamrot fight because he was worried about the takedowns and the level changes. But Beneil he knows what's at stake here. The UFC told him, you get a win, you get a fight for the title. That's the only time they've ever told him that through his entire win streak. He put a lot, he risked a lot in the Gamrot fight just to be able to fight. But now there's a real reason for him to fight. He waited for Charles Oliveira to get healthy after an injury.
Yeah.
They pushed the fight back a little ways, but he was willing to wait because he needed this matchup. I think that says a lot about his motivation and what he expects in this fight.
Both of these guys are finishers. They're finishers on the feet. They're finishers on the ground. I mean, I think Joe Rogan says it best. Is how I think this fight's going to go. But I do think early on, we might see a little bit more of a tactical chess match because of what's at stake. And because, to your point, we saw that when Beneil faced a big jump up in competition when he faced Mateusz Gamrot. It was not just the takedowns. It was also knowing that these moments are getting bigger and bigger and bigger as I get closer and closer to this goal that has eluded me for so long. And for Charles, this fight is critical for him to regain the aura that he had before that, to remind people of what he's capable of doing and put the idea in their mind that, you know what, that loss to Islam Makhachev might have just been a bad night at the office. I don't know that most people believe that right now, but if he goes out there and either dusts or submits Beneil, I'm not saying I think it's going to happen, but if that happens, then he's right back where he started.
Well, and this is his last opportunity.
Huge, yes.
If he loses this fight, I don't think that we see Charles Oliveira fight for a title ever again.
Again, so it's not just your opponent, but it's what's at stake for both fighters in this matchup. Now let's take a look at how these guys have been putting together in the win column as of late. Again, Dariush currently on the longest win streak of his career, 8 in a row. And Oliveira, as I mentioned earlier, 11-fight win streak that ended in that loss, his last fight against the current champ, Islam Makhachev. So how does Charles, though, get his momentum back against a guy who's also currently running through people?
I mean, he just has to get a win. He has to be successful, and he has to do it early. Okay. Charles is kind of a momentum guy. Once he gets rolling downhill, he continues to get more dangerous. And that doesn't always mean that he's winning. There's been times in the Poirier fight where he was really hurt, but he found a little bit of success in some of the grappling early in that fight. And I think that kept him, at least his internal momentum, it kept it rolling. He was in a little bit of trouble in the Gaethje fight, but he was still able to be successful and get to some of his places. I think that he needs to find success with Beneil early. He needs to be able to hit him hard and land and get Beneil to back off a little bit. And I think that if Charles can feel good about what he's doing while he's in there, I think that he gets that ball rolling and he's really tough to stop.
He's definitely a momentum fighter in the fight, but in terms of his career momentum, I think he's got to go out there and do something spectacular. I really do. I don't think that this is a fight that he can just sort of eke by some sort of crazy split decision. He's got to go out there. He's got to either knock out or submit Beneil Dariush in order to, like I said previously, get that aura back, get that shine back on him. Because I think given his past, when there was that perception where he gets a little bit mentally flustered or he breaks in fights, that's an unforgivable sin in MMA for our fan base. And it's an idea that's really hard to get rid of. And I do feel like he got rid of it in the Michael Chandler fight, in the Justin Gaethje fight. But then in the Islam win, I feel like some people went, there it is again. There it is again. He cannot
there was
have
a lot of talk
any
about
moments
the early
like
tap.
that. Yes.
People were upset that he didn't wait longer, that he didn't go up, which I don't necessarily
I don't agree with it. I don't subscribe either. I think he got clipped.
Based on the history, that's why you say that.
He got clipped and he got submitted. But a lot of the fans see, there it is again. And so he's got to go out there and really make a statement this time.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.